any response, and, question and response, and link it to the fuller description, because I know there are going to be people who want to get more, or a pull down menu that says for more, more information here, more detail.
Yeah.
Can we? You don't like that idea, or?
No, I mean, I think it's a good idea. It's more work, and we have to decide. So one way a lot of FAQs are, is you just see the questions, and then you scroll down to the question that you're interested in, you click on it, and then sometimes it just expands below that thing. You read it,
cool.
And then
Right.
you go to the next question. If you click on that one, the other one that you expanded collapses, and
Right.
the other one opens up. So it makes it, that's
Makes it user
pretty
friendly.
easy to do. I could do that. So that's along the lines of what you're talking about. I don't know if it's
Right.
exactly what you're talking about. The other way would be to do something similar, except you have question short answer, and then there's like a plus sign or something, and you click that, and then you get more. But I think that might be a little confusing, because some people might just not realize that there's two sort of versions of the answer, and that you have to click on it to get more. But I have seen the just the questions approach.
Right.
And so could do that.
Yeah, I guess my thing is that even though there are 34 questions, they're all coming from comments that we've heard, or just what we could expect to hear as concerns. And how do we make available something that isn't going to make people's eyes glaze over, which is the shorter version, but
Right.
also make sure they know that there are fuller responses in another spot. I don't know, it's a little complicated. So what's this?
Yeah. Certainly we could put the link to the whole thing at the end of the.
Well, should we do that though now? Look at what you did in terms of ordering? Or look at all 34 and see if there are a few more we might want to add? I'm going to go online.
I have a copy of what I did here.
Yeah, I have a copy of that. It looked good. It looked like you did a good job. Mike, I had a question about the second one about will my property taxes be reduced? I would say yes, because the money that used to be a portion of the money that used to come from property taxes to pay for the transfer station will now be paid for by the bag fees, and so the money will get transferred from the property tax to the bag fees.
Right, but
So I don't say property taxes will be reduced, because that the burden will be, the line item will be reduced. The DPW line item on your property tax bill, on the property taxes assessment, will be reduced. Now, if the selectmen decide to allocate that money to some other project, well, that's not really relevant to what we're concerned with here.
yeah, I took that to mean,
When
Is
you get your bill,
is my
at the
bill
end of
gonna
the
go
year,
down?
Your bill probably won't go down.
Right.
But that's because if the selectmen decide to allocate that money to some other project, like a school, or hiring a housing coordinator or something. But it does transfer the burden from property taxes to the fee-based system for the bags. And so
Yeah.
it really, I don't know, in my mind, it's a reduction in property taxes, because the money gets transferred, the burden gets transferred. But it is, Yeah, it's not real clear cut how to explain that. Really.
Yeah, it's,
You think that when we're talking about a property tax mitigation sort of on a household basis, do you
Yeah.
think that's the confusing part or what? I mean, 'Cause that's-
No, it's mainly when you say, will my property taxes be reduced? I would say yes instead of no.
well, yeah.
Yes, and then go on and saying property taxes will be mitigated by $11 per thousand, which will average out to $77. That will be an average reduction in your property taxes.
How do we get around the issue that most people, when they ask that question, they mean their personal bill, what you were
Right.
saying? That's what, am I gonna see my bill go down? My property tax assessment go down? That's
That's
what
where you
they-
have to somehow explain, well,
that's why.
your bill may not go down if the money is used for other purposes.
It's
but
And
not gonna
that's-
go down, period, Dan.
And that's what I was trying to say there. Your bill
It's
won't go
not
down,
gonna go
but
down.
why won't it?
It won't.
Why not?
It never, in the history of
it won't.
property tax bills, et cetera, it just, your taxes will not go down.
Plus the amount, the amount we're talking about,
Is
is-
piddling.
yeah, is like out in the cent point something of people's tax bill.
Right. It's
Of the
a
total
very-
amount of the
Right, it's a very small amount.
Tax.
People get that we're asking them to pick up the burden, and they don't like it because it's been out of sight, out of mind. I
It's-
mean, people who are complaining about it.
But
Well,
Well, I mean,
also-
there's some people who are subsidizing, other people.
Exactly.
And so those people who are doing the subsidizing will end up paying less,
Yeah.
even in transfers, even in dump sticker fees.
Well, people will say, well, I'm paying all these fees for the bags, but overall, that's being offset by a reduction in property taxes, so that the net benefit will either be zero or else a slight decrease in what you're paying.
But I think this cost estimate is, this mitigation estimate you've provided is after, is after you consider the cost of the bags for these households. Is that right or not? Is it?
You mean the $11 per 100,000?
Yeah.
That's the reduction in property taxes. The reduction in tipping fees plus the revenue from the bags comes to $11 per 100,000.
Okay. Okay.
So it's a composite number. But minus the revenue from what used to be the transfer station stickers.
Yeah.
Right.
So so you get the $77 mitigation plus you don't pay the $25. So your $700,000 house comes out like $100 a head, as long as you don't use more than 20 bags
Right.
per year.
Right.
Well, and.
That's kind of
The incentive to
that's sort of
reduce what you use.
that's like the best case scenario for kind of the average $700,000 house in Carlisle. But if you're using 2 bags every week, then things don't look as good.
200, that's your second or third example, I think,
Right.
household example. Is that's without trying to divert more stuff, that's without composting, I mean, that extra fee, well, you don't know. I mean, some people could do everything they could possibly do and they'll still end up with 2 bags, 33-gallon bags a week. Is that possible?
Well, no, I'm saying if people don't change their behavior at all.
Exactly.
They say, screw it, I do what I do, and
Right.
Then
I
you're gonna
can't
pay
possibly
for it.
change.
It's
There's
called the user fee.
Yeah, so 50, so 2 bags a week is 104 minus 20 is 84, right? 84 times 330 is like $250.
Right.
So you end up paying $150.
Out of pocket.
Yeah, the net thing is that you're going to be $150 worse off under this system.
Yeah. But that's if you don't change your behavior. So you have an option there, you have a choice. But at least you and I are not subsidizing those people who decide, it's not worth
Right.
it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we can't hide, we can't say that everybody is going to save money, that it's a
No.
big
Exactly.
Yeah.
utopia.
But isn't that an argument to the point that just doing compost is not sufficient? You have to have an incentive to get people to actually take the scraps out of their bags and to not.
Yeah, I mean, if it was that easy, then why would people? Why would 147 or 100? It's now 154 communities.
Right. I
The
saw
number went
that.
up.
I was surprised.
7 got added to the list apparently
Yeah.
because the new numbers. I just saw them, at the state. So why would they go to the trouble of doing all this pay as you throw? Right? I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
Right.
So. But there's a number of different factors here because I'm somewhat convinced that there's material coming from outside of Carlisle,
Right.
because we are surrounded by communities that have limits, and the bulky waste is also not an insignificant part of the whole thing. So.
And people still keep talking about C&D, regardless of, as they just want to get rid of it because it is an expense to the town, whether it's in our trash or not.
Yeah, and that's a recommendation that
Right.
I think we
Just
can make.
Just needs to be paid for by whoever's using it.
Yeah.
Or we just don't.
Yeah, the
collect it.
intention of municipal solid waste is not to facilitate or subsidize the building
Right.
remodeling industry.
Right.
That's not really what it's about. I mean, maybe at one time there wasn't a way, there weren't vendors who took construction debris, but now there's many, many different ways.
Right.
There's all kinds of vendors who will deliver a dumpster. You can buy Bagsters,
Right.
Junkster bags, at all the local hardware stores. So you've got like a ton of options for construction and demolition. Very convenient options that are, complete alternatives to.
Yeah.
You know,
And you don't need to
taking
haul.
it.
And you don't need to haul it to the transfer station.
Yeah, you don't need to have any kind of special vehicle or
Right.
anything. Yeah. So there's no reason why the town should provide that service.
Right.
I'm just really concerned about people continuing to say, but we don't know really how much of this is coming from us and how much of it is coming from the outside. So, it's just a circular thing, right? Because what we're proposing is a system that would help us get a handle on that and really reduce the outside traffic.
Yeah, I think that's a point we can make, that this pay-as-you-throw is a system that will address this issue in the with the least amount of sort of administrative overhead,
Yeah.
which sort of contradicts that Facebook post, right? This is going to be an administrative nightmare.
Exactly. Okay. So do we want to take a look at the questions and see about ordering them in any way, and if there's.
think there's 2 questions that deal with construction and demolition. Those should probably be next to each other.
On the short version or the full, the full version?
Yeah. Yeah, number 21. I'm gonna take that out and put it next to.
And which was the other one?
Number 21, you said.
It's, number 9, yeah, 9 and 21.
I'm thinking that we can eliminate question 21 and just put the text of
In
the
number.
answer of 21
In number.
kind of append it to.
Yep, because it's the same question.
What number was that?
9 and 21.
So if you look, so it would be at a cost of $85 per ton, the 222 blah, 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 and then having pay-as-you-throw will discourage people from putting construction demolition debris into the incinerator dumpster. And we should require blah, blah, blah. You know, I think that all goes together. We don't need to have a separate question.
That's where 21 is missing off of the fact sheet that I have. That is so weird.
The shorter version?
No, on the long one.
Really?
Yeah, on the,
I have it, it's in my
yeah,
my
I don't know what
version.
I just went to your emails. I should just go to docs. Pay as you throw back. Okay, March 5th. This is from Mark Hart.
Yeah, I made a note that.
Oh, God. No, it's missing. The one you sent out today, Claude?
Mm-hmm.
Not today, Wednesday. No, Tuesday, the 5th.
You're talking about the web version?
That's what I'm talking about. I don't see a 21. I see 20 and then it jumps to 22.
Oh, on Google Docs?
Yeah.
When did I print
I'm
this?
in the Google Doc.
Oh, I printed
Called
this out
PAYT FAQ.
6 days
Yes.
ago.
Okay, let me go back to.
Weren't we talking about getting rid of construction debris altogether?
Yeah,
Yeah. Definitely.
that's one of the recommendations we want to make. On the shortened version, look at question number 11. If we're thinking about sort of a priority of more frequently asked questions, I think number 11 is a biggie. I pay a lot in property taxes. The TS is one of the few services the
Mhm.
town provides. And I'm wondering if we want to move that.
So that should be moved up higher,
I'm
more to the
thinking,
beginning.
don't you,
Okay.
I mean, if we're talking about prioritizing it, I think it's more important than the smelly compost bins.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So that might be the
No.
second question, right?
Claude, I'm not seeing 21 on the docs.
Or are you logged in
Yes, I'm logged in.
to the Wi-Fi network?
Yes. I went straight to docs.
Let's see, okay.
Unless there's one you have in a private cache somewhere.
Well, pay-as-you-throw FAQ, is that what
That's
it's
what,
called?
take a look. Here we are. Okay, right there. Right?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, 835. Okay, 20. Okay, is there a better way to do this? Okay. Yeah, see, 20, 22.
That's weird, because over here,
You have 21.
I have a 21, yeah. Well, let's see, do you see, number 14 should be after the first question before the second question. Let's see if that update has made it over to your copy.
Well, I see 13 and then it goes to 15.
So that means I took out 14.
Right.
Oh, well, I got rid of 21.
So that's what the problem is.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
I just
right.
took it, I just made it
Okay,
part of.
That's right, thank you.
Yeah. It should be
Oh,
gone.
But
oh,
did you
just
say
now.
you're seeing it?
Oh, you just did that now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these aren't
So
automatically
that is, you're looking at the
reordering.
live doc.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, because I don't have a 21 either now. Right,
So
it
it's-
goes from 20 to 22.
Yeah, it's weird that the numbers don't automatically update when you.
Oh, well, then.
It's not a list. It's not
Yeah,
a
it's
numbered
just,
list.
Oh,
it's just
They're
a
just-
paragraph and then
they're
an
just-
indented paragraph below it.
Yeah,
So we'll have to go and
right.
renumber it. But I figure we'll do that later.
Right.
Because otherwise,
Yeah,
the paper thing, if we're talking back and forth,
Right.
will.
So what do we think about number 11, and I pay a lot in property taxes? Where
Well,
might we?
no, wait, is there an 11 that's?
it's,
Or is it 14?
This is on.
Oh, it's on the short version.
Yes, on
We
the
don't-
short.
it's
We
number
don't
put-
it's 14.
We don't want to
Yeah, I
say there
put
that.
14 as number 2 now.
Oh, okay.
So that's like the second thing. And then it goes to, will my property taxes be reduced? And then it goes to, will we really see the 44% reduction? And then how much will I have to pay in fees? I mean, the fees thing,
Yeah, that's a biggie.
maybe we should put that after, will my property taxes be reduced?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which one?
Number 5 would become number 3.
You're changing all this, right?
I'm changing it now. Number 3. Yeah, how much will I have to pay in fees?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and in question number 3, we cite the 1,811 tons for 1,600 households.
Mm.
So that's consistent.
I think it's the report, and it's talking about volume as opposed to weight.
Okay.
So I'll have to go in and fix that. So, do you say anywhere that if you make no changes whatsoever, you know, this is what the estimate, this is what your cost would be?
Wait a minute.
On those household examples on the PowerPoint, maybe I should.
Well, it's just,
Well-
no, it's not that you'd make a change. It's just that if you're a household and you throw this many bags away, and you know this is how you'll fare under this system.
Right.
Of course, if you instead of throwing 2 bags every week, you only throw 1, then the situation improves drastically. But I don't know that we want to say, you know what I mean? Because every household's different. I mean,
Right.
there might be some households that throw away 6 bags every week.
No.
Right.
And they'll swear that there's no way they could do less. I mean, Nancy Weissman, is it?
Perman Weiss.
Herman Weiss.
Yeah, Perman.
She says that she has these filters, for her asthma that are like big and bulky, and that they have to be changed every. I forget how often, but
Oh, really?
so she says, well, I can't.
She has a lot of bulk.
Yeah, I mean, I have to throw them away. So they're,
That's interesting.
so she's talking about like handicapped people or something. In other words, there's special circumstances where people don't have an option, you know.
Mhm.
So I don't know that we should, like, say,
Assume that everybody can reduce.
yeah, I mean, yeah, because people either can or are not willing or not, they just don't care or.
They're the cat litter people. There was Tim who said, I can't even imagine how we could get down to less than 2 bags. And I said, well, Tim, do you compost? Well, no.
Yeah. Well, some people, the whole notion of composting is, well, you saw on the Facebook thing, there's like the trash is really smelly and I go 3 times a week to the transfer station.
You know, to get rid of the smelly stuff.
To get rid of the smelly stuff. So everybody has a very different relationship with trash. Well, some people their nose is much more attuned
Yeah.
to certain smells, right? You know, and
Yep.
like some people will go to a barnyard or a farm and they'll think it stinks. Other people will be like,
Smells great.
yeah, it smells good, or yeah. Because as a kid, I
Yeah.
spent a little bit of time on farms, and so it wasn't like a foreign notion. So,
Okay, so are we still reordering?
So, question 10. Do we answer that twice?
Where does the solid waste go? Is that the question?
Yeah.
So, Claude, you're changing this on the long fact, but we're
Yeah.
not changing it
No,
on the
no, I'm-
short.
Well, I figure then from the
And then we'll go
from the
there.
long one,
Yeah.
we can then, follow
Yeah.
Rob's template and, pull out.
Black earth. When we mention black earth, we want to say black earth compost. That's the name of the company, and it makes it clear that we're talking about compost here, because we don't mention compost anywhere.
Talking about number 11 or somewhere else?
Number 10 on the short form.
Number 10. Oh.
Which one is it on the long form?
Yeah, the numbers are different. 'Cause we cut some out. It's probably, it's number 11. It's number 11.
I'm still trying to find the repeated.
So Dan, that's Black Earth Compost?
Yeah, it's called Black Earth Compost. I checked their website.
Okay.
And then when we get we want to get the word compost in there, because
Right.
we don't have that word
Yeah,
anywhere
we know,
else.
yeah.
So maybe we should put compost, instead of saying material, we just say compost is discard.
Well, it's the food scraps that become compost.
Yeah,
So it's not
Okay.
really compost that we're disposing of. It's
right.
Okay,
It
so we'll
says-
say food
It
scraps.
says scraps in number 20.
well, the technical term is organics, but people
Right.
don't know what
No,
that
that-
means.
no.
Food scraps are discarded in bins that are lined with sturdy.
Which one are you on?
I'm on the number 11.
Oh,
So, yeah, I think we should say residents will discard food scraps in bins
yeah.
that are lined with sturdy liners.
That are fitted, do you want to say fitted with sturdy liners?
Yeah, that's, I like that, yeah. That's a good idea. Fitted with sturdy liners and replaced after each collection. Scraps are picked up within 12 to 20 hours of being. Food scraps are picked up within 12 to 24 hours of being discarded and covered bins.
Trying to get rid of this.
I think we should say the cover, the.
I'm sure we're gonna get some questions about critters, you know, bears and coyotes and other animals getting into this stuff. And,
I assume the bins are animal proof.
they actually, for the most part, there are some special bins that are bear-proof. The question is, you know, how much activity is there gonna be on the site? But
Could be some when the bears wander through.
I've never had a bear go into our compost bins, and I have 3 in the backyard.
No,
They go after bird feeders.
yeah, something manages to get into my bin, but I don't know what it is. It doesn't,
It's probably
something small,
raccoon
something
or-
small.
There's gotta be raccoons,
under.
if they are on top, they can't, well, I don't know what kind of.
I have
bird
the-
they Yeah, the
The black, yeah,
bird-
circle.
bird
Yeah.
machine, or
Yeah,
whatever it's
something
called.
small,
New age
something
machine.
small gets under every now and then, and I can tell stuff's been eaten, but it's gotta be something like mice or something, I don't know,
Oh,
but
yeah.
something that can get in.
It could be mice.
Well, that's okay, isn't it?
Yeah. Well,
It reduces the pile. It's a natural
Right.
function, process. Okay, we're losing our focus here.
all right.
Claude, which was the one that you thought was repeated? I'm losing the
It was,
numbers.
It was 21 was the same thing.
No, but there was another
No.
one that you were just talking
Oh,
about.
I was looking for it.
Where does the trash go?
Yeah, I thought that maybe there was a repeat on that. No, I don't think it is a repeat. I don't see it.
I don't think so.
I find question 22 on the long form interesting because we have not mentioned cameras. We're just assuming people have read the proposal and know we're recommending cameras.
Yeah. Right, well, we haven't talked about the cameras.
No.
I mean, I think the problem is that, I mean, the focus of Tuesday night is to get this on the warrant.
Right.
And
Right.
I think mentioning cameras is not gonna help us. It's just gonna sort of distract attention. What we wanna emphasize is that, you know, we're not doing a good job on solid waste, and solid waste is a problem. It's not like, well, who cares, you know? I mean, why can't we be in the top 10%, right? So we have to address that.
Right.
And then we have to say that pay-as-you-throw is a proven way to address that issue, and that we want the voters in Carlisle to have the opportunity to recommend this system to you, the Board of Selectmen, And we think that we are ready because we have, that the voters will be able to make an informed choice. It's not going to be just some acronym that they don't know anything about. We've got, this huge FAQ. We're going to do a forum, between now and town
At least
meeting.
one.
And we're going to have, we have a calculator, so the financial benefit or cost is not obscure or unknown. It can be determined rather precisely, So they can object, and what reasons could they use to say we don't want to put this on the warrant? People don't know what they're voting on.
Yeah.
Nobody cares, right?
We're gonna
I
have-
think those are the issues we have to kind of like undercut.
Right.
And I think if we have people show up, and we also talk about, the 154 communities that do it and so on and so forth, and, the issues and blah, blah, blah. I think they can't say, oh, we're going to pass on this.
Yeah, we're not looking for their approval. We're not
Right.
looking for their endorsement. We're just
Right.
looking for them to put it on the warrant.
Right.
So I think you're right.
And we think this is a legitimate
And
issue.
they-
This is
and
not
they-
like some frivolous
They
thing.
asked us to raise the issue a year ago.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So I guess then I'm not sure, the refinement of do you see having the final refined version of the fact sheet, having it finalized by Tuesday night? Do you see that as critical? Because I think I understand what we're trying to do
No, I don't
Tuesday
think it's
night.
critical. I think that, I see it as kind of it's always a work in progress.
Right.
I've seen, we get, like Carrie brought up the issue, well, how quickly? So then I did a bunch of research. I came up with some data that says, well, it happens pretty, almost instantly. So, I see there always be something that we can add to it.
Right.
And, so I see it kind of evolving. I don't think we have to get it in its final form. I think it's pretty comprehensive as
It's
it is.
very good, yeah.
I don't see that. I think the point is that we have a lot of the facts and figures, and we have it in a form that's, pretty readable. It may be long, but we're not short. It's not like we don't know anything about this pay-as-you-throw, and it's just some acronym we heard from Julia, and now we're running around going pay-as-you-throw, pay-as-you-throw.
And people have a tool that's a very easy to use tool to assess the impact on their households.
Yeah,
Plus or
and I
minus.
think that goes beyond a lot of things that are proposed, because when they talk about a new fire truck, well, how much is it going to cost me? Well, on average, blah, blah, blah. Well, no, I want to know specifically me. Well, here's the calculator, right? They've never done that before.
This is good.
So-
I've never seen that calculator.
It's not hard to do, but
Easy for you to say.
Well, it's just a little
For you to do.
multiplication. It's just a little multiplication.
Right.
Well, in this case, it's a little more complicated because you got
Yes.
the bag. If it's just a fire truck, all you do is you take
Right.
Yeah.
the cost of the fire truck, and then you divide it by the total assessed value, and then you multiply that by your assessed value of your house, and you got the
Right.
answer. So
Right.
it's a pretty simple little calculation. But yeah, I think we can. Those are, I think, the issues that we have to address, and I think unless you can think of some
No, I
objection that the selectmen will say, well, this really isn't ready for town meeting. This isn't suitable, or this is a muddled kind of directive that doesn't tell us as selectmen anything about what we should be doing, right? Because if we talk about the Mass DEP standard, I think that's pretty specific.
That's very, that would be very, very flimsy of them. They have very flimsy grounds for rejecting this in terms of going. They can decide that they don't like the proposal. That's up to them, and they're free to do that. But this should go to the town for a vote.
They could say, well, we'd prefer stickers instead of bags, right?
Yeah, they
But
could.
they could, but we're not. It's not like we're saying in the Warren article.
It's gotta be
it's got to be
XYZ.
a sticker. It's got to be a bag, and it's got to be purple, and it has to be $3.30, and
Right.
and it's 20 free bags. It's not like we're trying to constrain it, and then they could legitimately say, look, this is too specific, we don't understand.
Right.
You know, we want to have the flexibility to, set these parameters and so on and so forth.
So I see two things here. I mean, I think it would be very good to have this prioritized at least, so that we could show them or hand it out to them so they could see, that we've done a lot of research here and this is what we're finding. Not for them to pick it apart, and not to get into a discussion on the fact sheet, but as validation that we're ready to go.
Right. I think it's important that the weight of the FAQ in some sense is almost more important than if it was only a half a page or something. Yes, it would be very readable, but then it might seem like, well, there are more things going on. In some sense, if it's really long, and we can address any question that comes up and say, well, we've covered that in the FAQ, but let me summarize for you, blah, blah, blah. There's more detail in the FAQ. I think that's a better position to be in.
It's comprehensive, very comprehensive document. So then the question, well, so should we just continue with the order? I'm just trying to figure out.
Yeah, so I think it is important to get it into their meeting packet,
right.
Which would mean that we would have to tomorrow email it to Jen and say, here it is, it's ready for them.
Actually, today it was supposed to go in, but I think Thursday. But
okay. Well, we could send an email to the selectmen directly, with a link to the FAQ or whatever. Or with the FAQ in the body of the email.
Right. So, sounds like we're going to send them the full deal, right? The big deal, the whole package here.
Well, I think.
And then tell them that what?
Yeah, especially if it's ordered in such a way that the stuff that we consider to be most important is up front.
Right.
They have a limited attention span, and / limited time, right? So they're not gonna, but I'm sure they'll read some of it, maybe, or.
Right. So there's no way that by tomorrow it's going to be the drop-down menu idea, right? I mean, to send out. Do we have to worry about that, or?
I think that's a nice to have that we could do for like the web version, at some point, like when we spread it more widely, perhaps with a mosquito article or City in the Woods.
Right.
I mean, I can work on that tomorrow. It's not, it'll take me a little while, but it's not a big deal.
As long as we agree we don't need that for Tuesday
We
night.
could just give them the list of questions, because that would be pretty short. And then if they want to see that, for them to see the answers, they can go to the link.
Mm-hmm.
But we want them to see this big document as kind of evidence that we've done our homework, or somebody has done our homework on this team, right? So I don't have a problem with giving them a 7-page document, because I think it supports the case. There's a lot of work and a lot of thinking.
That's fine. We give it to Tim. Can always shorten it if he doesnn't want to include the whole thing in their packet. Right?
Well, it's like Jen who does the work.
Jen does
it.
It's pretty much. I mean, the book ends up being like this thick.
Yeah.
I mean, it includes all kinds. It has the bylaws in it. And it has zoning laws and.
Well, it's only 9 pages. So if it's duplex copied, it's
it's actually
fine.
not going to be. Sometimes I remember getting stuff that was, multiple pages of like the budget often is, like half a dozen pages, stuff like that. So
I'm getting a struggle take off my computer
The
screen because
question-
I have
I had
it
a
set
question
for
on the,
nighttime screen, get rid of
on
that.
the-
And every once in a while it goes wacky like this. I don't think I can look at this
On the-
anymore.
Yeah,
I have a
don't,
fit.
you'll get epilepsy.
The question I had on the presentation is, some of the font is kind of small. Is there any way you can increase the size of some of the font to make it readable
So
from a
Dan-
distance?
Dan, I'm going to work on all the
Oh, you're gonna work on the formatting?
Yeah, I did the
Okay.
formatting on the last
Oh,
one for
good.
the final version. So I think that's one of my pet peeves, so I will definitely
Oh, okay.
work on that.
Good.
I mean, that's the easy part, is the formatting. When somebody's done all the work. What the heck? Okay, getting rid of this guy right now.
Okay, so, any other, suggestions about combining or deleting or moving questions?
All right.
So, Rob, what were the questions that you had at the, you essentially picked the most important ones, right? So,
Yeah.
how does it go in your system?
I don't think
Which
we
one
need
is the
that.
first one?
Oh,
So you start with,
no, number one, the
No.
one that was number one.
yeah, and then you went to, what was your number 2?
It was number 2.
Will my property taxes be reduced? But then that got moved to.
So I pay a lot in property taxes. Did you have that one as one of the ones?
Yep.
Yeah, that's number
Okay.
11, I think.
Yep,
and this
yeah,
was-
That was number 14,
I'll move.
and I moved that to number 2.
Yep. Another one.
Okay, and then I go, will my property taxes be reduced? Now, did you rewrite that one? No, okay, that's about the same, okay. And then how much will I have to pay in fees? That was the next one, or that's the next one that I have. Is that where you went?
I was gonna, yeah, it's 5 here, but it was gonna move up, be moved up. I've been
Oh, okay.
tracking your movements here. so
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was-
How much will I have to pay in fees, and then how can we be sure we'll see the 44% reduction? And then, won't we get a reduction simply because we drive people away? Shouldn't we try to encourage more recycling before we take the drastic step? And then instead of pay-as-you-throw, can't we just improve monitoring? And then we go to what about an easy pass transponder or license plate reading system to control access? And then now that might be a place to put in the one about the cameras.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
Okay.
The
So I'm gonna
monitoring.
move,
So it's 8 and, what was it?
so number 22, I'm thinking we move that up.
Yeah, or just put number 8 with 22. Just need to.
Combine them?
Yeah. Control access. Well, they're kind of different, but one's, well, they're similar, but asking a little different question. Number 22 is the privacy question
Yeah.
that's related to number 8.
Yeah, so I have 22 now after 8. Then we go to this C and D question. And then, now, where does the solid waste go? Now, maybe that question should be higher up.
Yeah, I think it should. I think
So it's like the most commonly asked
you
question.
know, the Easy Pass transponder is,
It's sort of obscure.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna move, so where does it go question go? That should probably
that should be up high, shouldn't it?
It should be right after the 44%, right?
Which one's yes. Yes.
Or should it be like number 2, right?
Mm. No, I think the taxes
Taxes first,
and the cost thing should come first.
and then the fees, and then it says, how can we be sure that we'll get the reduction? And then we ask the question of where does it go?
Yeah.
That probably makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Okay, so. Okay, and then
So which one is it going after?
right after the 44% reduction,
Okay.
you know, how can we be sure about 44%?
Yeah.
Then we go, where does the solid waste go, which was number 10. And then
I think switch 5 and 4. Shouldn't we try to encourage more recycling before we take the drastic step of pay-as-you-throw?
That
Well,
should be
actually,
before.
I don't know, when we get a reduction simply because we drive people away. Because we get that a lot about the recycling, that's what I'm thinking, but those are both.
Okay, so I'll move that one before. Okay, should we try to encourage more? Then we talk about driving people away.
Yep. And then the monitoring, that makes
The
sense.
monitoring, and then the cameras. Then, how
I
much
think-
does the C&D,
I think that needs to move up, because that's another common question, I think.
construction and demolition?
Yeah,
Higher than the cameras?
I think so.
Yeah, okay.
Well, higher than the Easy Pass transponder.
Right, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Okay. So I'll go right before the Easy Pass transponder. Okay. Now,
How much does the transfer station cost to operate annually? Now I'm wondering, should that go up like top level? Because that's such a basic question.
mm-hmm. It
I
is.
don't know, what, people don't really know. But then, isn't that the one that says that it's only 1% of our total budget? Or is that somewhere else?
1%. We could,
Well, that's a short one. Okay, it doesn't say someplace else where it talks about 1% of the budget.
yeah, I don't know where the 1% is. I guess I can search for it.
It's right there. The transfer station costs approximately 1%
Oh, yeah,
of
yeah,
the town
okay.
Carlisle
Got it,
budget.
yeah. So you're saying that 12 and 13 should probably be up higher?
Well, I'm just sort of getting the facts out about what really goes on.
Yeah. Yeah, we can move those up.
You know, we'll have to reread the reordered version and see if it makes sense when it's all done, but
Okay, so where would that go? That would be,
that's the problem.
Because we've already got about a dozen things we prioritized at the beginning.
I pay a lot in property taxes.
Well, should we, should we lead with how much it costs?
Make that number 1 and 2?
I'm wondering, did you already,
Yeah.
did you cut them already?
Yeah. Okay, so now they're number 1 and 2. Yeah, in some sense that kind of sets the stage, right? 'Cause-
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, this is not debatable, there's no controversy, this is just what it is.
Right.
And then why are we recommending this? Then we get into the nitty-gritties.
Right.
I love the questions about, well, can't we just do, yeah. I just think that, do we really think that transponder and the camera questions should be that close to the top, they just seem very,
Yeah, we can move those like to the bottom. Yeah, I
Well-
mean, these questions got put in the order that people
Yeah.
talked about, and there
Right.
wasn't really any thought about,
No, it just, it was just a list.
yeah, it was just like, and they were numbered simply to allow people to refer to them, not because this is the first, you know. So, let's see, where's the, oh, clapping.
Mhm.
is that the fire chief thing?
This is the fire chief thing,
Yeah,
And one guy pulled it out.
yeah.
the Nashua guy, I think.
So, are you, where, I'm looking at number 17, won't pay as you throw cause some of my neighbors to deposit their trash in their backyards, threatening our environment. Remember, we've gotten that question a fair number of times.
Yeah,
Should that be moved up? Stockpiling bags is,
well, it just moved up by virtue of the fact that we removed the transponder questions. But
yeah, the illegal dumping is,
well, there's this whole constellation of sort of the water quality, you
Yeah.
know, trash impacting water quality questions. So 16, 17, and 18, we could move those up higher, right?
how much higher?
Um, right after the food scraps bin.
Okay, where's the food scraps bin? That's lower down now, right?
Yeah, I moved it up some, but not a lot. I basically moved it above the old 15. Well, I put it above 15. I put 16, 17, and 18 above 15.
Well, I'm looking at number, what is numbered as number 10, but that's not its actual number now. I don't know what the number is. The
Yeah,
one
where
about-
does the solid waste go that no longer ends up in the
Yeah.
transfer station?
So, I'm thinking,
Oh, that would follow
Mhm.
logically?
right,
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so 16, 17, and 18, we're gonna move there.
after that number 10.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Okay, I gotta read it from the start now.
Now, the Easy Pass transponder and the camera thing, that would kind of logically follow the question about, can't we just increase the monitoring?
Yes.
We-
Where is that question?
um,
Or do you see number 15 about trash that is dumped in front of my house? Will I have to pay to get rid of that? Shouldn't that go up with those other questions about in the backyard, et cetera?
Well, but that isn't, it's not so much, Because that's like, I mean, that's not trash that would linger. You know what I'm saying? That it's not a sort of, I don't think that, the concern there is I don't want to have to pay for it, not that it's going to harm my water, the water quality.
Yeah, so you're thinking instead of pay-as-you-throw, can't we just improve monitoring? And then you
I
wanna-
forget where that question is. What number is that?
It's number 7.
Number 7. Yeah, so we could put the camera questions after that. Or we could leave the camera stuff later, you know, just because it's kind of more
Yeah,
obscure.
I don't know, I think, the order, you know, the construction and demolition question's a biggie. I don't think that should be,
Well, you've already moved the cameras up to near number 8, so they're all together anyways.
oh, wait a minute, really?
Yeah, didn't, right?
Okay, I'm getting lost.
Yeah.
Okay, cameras, let me do a find. This doesn't do it. Find an, oh yeah, cameras. Okay, the first mention of cameras is question 22.
Is that- Did that get moved?
It's moved now under the Easy Pass transponder.
Yeah, yeah, which is right after the, instead of pay as you can't throw, can't we improve monitoring?
Yeah. So do I have to pay sales tax? That's a very, that should stay at the end, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty obscure.
Yeah.
So Claude, do you want me to, I can send a note to Julia Green tomorrow about the, where does our incinerator ash actually go? 'Cause it
Yeah, that would be
doesn't go
nice to
the-
know. I'm leaving it now as, I mean, it doesn't go there now, but it did. So I'm not that concerned about, I don't know if anybody will call us on it. I don't know that anybody will drive down there and ask the guy. I drove down there and he said it's not going there. I said, oh yeah, actually we lied. That's true, we knew that. But maybe somebody in town works in this business and they'll come and say, oh yeah, no, you got your facts wrong there.
Yeah.
So when we find out what time we're meeting Tuesday, we'll have to email it out so we can get there. We want to get there like 10, 15 minutes ahead or?
Or more, just, I think we're the last ones in the list. At
Oh,
least
you
the
think we're
last
gonna
list
be
I
at the
saw.
end?
I think so.
So it may be
Yeah.
later. They want to have it earlier than the time posted, but they may
Yeah.
have it later,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna speculate, cause I have no
So
idea.
we get
Yeah,
there.
they don't, try not to take things earlier than they're
We get
scheduled for.
there like 20 minutes ahead. I have to go. Anything else? do we have to review the warrant article wording again, or is that all set?
Are we done with the fact sheet, Claude, or?
Yeah, I'm running out of steam, but yeah,
Yep.
I mean,
I think so.
yeah, I think we should spend time on the warrant article, make sure we're comfortable with that, because that is sort of more central, you know, that's what we're asking about.
So you'll present this along with the presentation.
So I just realized,
Semi.
if you've got to read the warrant article and do the presentation, didn't you time the warrant article as, like, how long?
We said 360 words, 3 minutes, you know.
3 minutes.
Well, that was not, I think that was the warrant article plus an explanation, which ended up being kind of the first,
Right.
which is now the third question in the FAQ. So let me.
Do you have it, Dan?
Here, I have it
Yeah,
here.
Yeah, I have
Oh,
the
good.
warrant, yeah. Yeah, so that'll take time. So we still have enough time to read the warrant and then to do the presentation as it is?
I think when we timed the warrant article reading
Yeah.
previously, and based on the 360
It was
words.
3 minutes?
Yeah,
Well, that
it
was when we thought we only had 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we
Total.
thought
Are
we
we
only had
Total, but
5.
now,
Are we still doing the write-up after that, along with the article there?
I'm thinking that we just do the
Just do-
slide
yeah,
presentation,
yeah.
and then the warrant article is like in their packet. And, cause,
We don't, okay, so you don't read the warrant article, because they'll have it in the packet.
yeah, and
And we can just refer
before when
to
it
it.
was
We
so
just
short,
refer- just referred to it.
doing a 3-minute slide presentation is a little bit,
Right.
was kind of like,
Involved.
okay, we're just gonna read this
Yeah.
statement,
Right.
and then you got, and then
Right.
then they ask some questions, and then you're done. But if we have more like 15 minutes or something, then I think the slide presentation works. And,
Okay.
Well, who's gonna send what to Jen tomorrow to go into the packet? Because the warrant, I just changed the acronym, not the acronym, but the CHRC to
Mm.
the full words.
Right, I just saw you do that, yeah.
In,
Well, I mean,
Right at the top of the warrant, right at the top of the warrant, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
It's in the doc. You can't get the doc, is that it? You can't access the Google
no,
Docs?
I think you can.
I think so.
Okay. You were having trouble getting into my stuff. I
Yeah.
Do you understand? So, well, Rob, as chair, do you want to send the materials?
So what are we sending?
Well, this is a different warrant article than we first sent to them.
Right. And I gotta look and see if I may have already sent that to them.
This revised version?
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah, because originally they were gonna meet earlier.
Because, yeah, when we were
Yeah.
scheduled to meet with them, I
That's
think I
right.
sent it to
That's
them. I
right.
have to double check.
So if the wording's okay, and then we'll just keep the one that they already have. And this looks fine to me.
Yeah, 'cause we had gone through that before.
Yeah. Yeah, we went through it pretty carefully before.
Yeah. The only thing is, I just changed the CHRC to the words. That's no biggie.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
So, my job is to refine the PowerPoint. Do we have to send them the PowerPoint before Tuesday night?
I think well, I remember last time we were in front of them, we had a PowerPoint, and
Right.
and I remember, I think it was Nathan said, or somebody on the board said, is this the same thing as, as what we saw, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So it seems that they like, that question tells me that they did read it and are sort of concerned about, well, is this version the same that you're going to present here, blah, blah, blah.
Good
So I would
question.
imagine that they do want to see a copy
In advance.
in advance.
Okay. All right.
So when would they need it by? Would they need
Well,
it by tomorrow?
I would want them to have it, by tomorrow, I think, just to be fair. I mean,
But that,
so I have to
but
work
that
on the
doesn't give you much
format.
time to format.
Well, my problem is that I'm at meetings until noontime tomorrow, so, but I can, Well, hi Bob. I'll get it done when I get it done, and we'll shoot it off to them, even if they got it on Saturday, only do what we can do.
You could CC them all, right? You have
Yeah,
all their
I did.
emails. Yeah, so you could send it to Jen and CC them, and then they have it electronically right away.
And then I'll do the notes
Because
pages.
Carrie is only going to get it electronically anyway.
Exactly.
She's not FedExing him that book, I think, every week, every 2 weeks.
So, and I'll do the slide notes pages too, because I thought that was good for them to have.
Sure.
I did that last time, and that, Okay, well, are we done here?
Yeah.
Okay. Just in time.
Okay.
Bob, you could make the motion to adjourn the meeting.
That's
Oh, well,
right.
there you go. Move that we adjourn this meeting.
Did they hire a police, fire chief yet?
Well, they're gonna make the decision next week at the regular meeting.
I second the motion.
How did the meeting go? They interviewed the two candidates, right?
Yeah,
They-
Shay, I didn't get there, so I missed part of his interview. He's from Brookline.
Okay, that's
Probably
the
from
candidate.
experience level, he's probably got more experience in a high level in
Yeah,
the fire department.
yeah.
I think Brian's, and when they opened it up for comment, several people from the fire department to get up there and really laid it on for Brian would be the
Oh,
ideal.
well, that's good. I sent in an email to the
But
selectmen.
they're delaying decision to allow for people to send in written comments if they
Yeah,
want to.
Yeah.
So it's a good idea to delay the decision. You don't want to have like
Oh,
a
yeah.
huge crowd
Yeah.
like that.
No.
You
You might get stoned if you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So you let things kind of calm down and
Yeah.
do it,
Yeah.
in a more,
Yeah.
Is Brian a local Carlilean?
Yeah, he's been in Carlisle for 20 years.
Yeah. He's really good.
Is he?
He'd make it rich.
All right, folks. I'm out.
Okay.
yeah, you guys never voted on the adjournment motion.
Sure we did, didn't we?
Oh,
All
I
in favor?
seconded the motion.
He wrote with our
Okay, good.
feet.
This is being recorded, by the way. Oh, shoot. I was asked by Debbie Bentley, I think you were too. They wanted to know if we had any comments about the solar array design.
I
actually-
responded to that.
Oh, you did? To her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
My,
She called me.
oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, my feeling is that that's like a Gary Davis question.
Well, she was concerned if we were thinking of getting a third compactor, which we are,
Yeah.
that potentially would that impact the design because they want to be able to modify it. And I said, well, how do we know? Because A, we don't even know if this is going on to the, if this is going to be voted on for town meeting. And she said, well, we'll build in some time between the decision on the solar array and this, so that if there is any adjustment, and I don't know what that's going to take, but we'd have to be working together. If the solar array thing is approved, if we get this thing approved, we would then work together.
But Gary Davis needs to be involved too,
Oh,
right?
of
It's not
course.
like,
Yeah.
it's not like,
No, we can't decide
And
that.
I don't know to what extent they've talked to him about all this.
Seriously? Wow.
Well, maybe they have, I don't know. They did go to the transfer station and they had them raise their
So they
to
can-
see how tall it was, so they, and then they realized they couldn't put the canopy over the middle, that they had to
Right.
leave the space, because they got it surrounded but not
Right.
covered, kind of.
Well, Nathan Brown made it very clear, no solar array unless Gary approves of it.
Okay.
Do you remember
Well-
that? Did you hear that at the meeting?
No, I didn't hear.
Oh, yeah. it was a-
Where's the, I presume this is kind of a conceptual design, but where is it located? I mean, I haven't
It's gonna
seen
be
it.
around the periphery of it.
Right.
There are gonna be
Okay.
4 arrays,
Yeah.
basically, that are spread out on the periphery for that reason, to,
Yeah, I mean, it won't be, portions of the edge of what one calls the transfer station now would be covered, but there would be a big open area in the middle, so they could
Okay.
kind of pull a dumpster out and then.
Yeah. Not be height restricted, but,
Yeah, and then, get it, because I guess when you pull it up onto the truck, it kind of goes like
Pretty
this.
high, yeah.
Yeah, it goes pretty high.
Yeah, there, yeah.
And the other thing is, if we would like the ETF to vote on this proposal, we have to do a written request.
The who?
The ETF, the Energy Task Force. If we want
Oh,
them to
okay.
vote to endorse it, then we have to make that request. So I'm thinking we
Okay.
do that after Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes. So,
Okay.
all right, thank you. Or hold on, start.
So we're gonna meet at the Board of Selectmen meeting Tuesday, and Claude's gonna give the PowerPoint.
yeah, they guess they haven't set up an agenda yet, because they were
Yeah.
asking when, people were asking when they were gonna vote on, make the vote. I don't know if that's gonna
they
be at
should
the
have
very end.
agenda- They should have the agenda by tomorrow, and then you'll know what time we're on for. Then we'll get there a little early. So we just basically review the PowerPoint that Claude's gonna do. And the FAQ questions, we reorder them so that
Okay.
they're kind of prioritized.
Did you hear?
Yeah, the
Back
computer
from the finance
problems
committee? I thought you emailed somebody at one
Between all
point.
the
Yeah,
so-called,
I think
Keeping
maybe
up
Monday.
with emails.
Yeah.
I think they might be
Even
meeting on
computers.
Monday, and that will be in that meeting.
So I haven't had a chance to go through all those questions.
This coming Monday.
This coming Monday, but I'm not
See
sure.
what they're.
Yeah, it's a lot of.
Yeah.
I guess I'll
a lot
have
of
to
stuff.
talk to
Not to 36 or 38.
find
Yeah,
out.
they put a lot of work into it.
No, I
I
haven't
didn't
really
see
got
it.
a
Send
fresh.
it all, we're gonna send it all
By
to the
email.
selectmen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Have that
haven't seen
packet.
anything either.
To show that
But they said that they would put us on the
we
next
thought
meeting.
about it.
So do you think Brian Soros will be our next fire chief?
Well, select board may feel like they're gonna get stoned if they don't.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Interesting.
Did Brian sound pretty good?
No, I think he came across answering questions, maybe not quite as polished, but clearly, I mean, his experience at IBM doing project management,
Yeah.
I think alleviated the notion of being able to be in a lead position type thing, manager, yeah.
Yeah.
So you like if you see a picture in the news of somebody took a video of somebody sleeping at the wheel of a Tesla on the interstate in California.
Relish.
Oh, from outside, they were driving?
They were driving next to him.
Next to him?
Looking, said, wait a minute.
No, it's self-driving.
Yeah. Well, on the, if
Took
the
advantage
lanes,
of
if the
self-driving
lanes
feature.
are well
Well
marked,
marked.
and, if the weather's good,
Yeah.
you could go
And
for
you're not-
hundreds of miles.
Not stop and go traffic.
Well, no, even stop and go.
Well-
It can deal with stop and go. Even if the freeway comes to a halt, it will stop and wait and then.
It's got enough range that if somebody's standing out there.
Oh, well, the problem is that, yeah, I think the issue is that if there's a car stopped all by itself and it's only you and this car, all of a sudden it has like zero
See ya.
velocity, that might cause problems.
Or if somebody does a panic stop in front of you.
Panic stop, no, unless it's so far ahead the car has no idea that it stopped, that by the time the car becomes aware of it, it stopped.
Instantaneous reaction time, so if it sees a panic stop.
Oh, yeah. No, it's gonna be faster than you are.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. If it crashes, you would have crashed anyway.
Yes, yes, I think so. Yeah, but it's the complete stop thing because it does